So I started collecting in 2010, right? That was 10 years ago. And I've seen quite a huge change in the Pokemon market just within the last 12 months, and it should be talked about. So the first thing I want to talk about is how the Pokemon collecting identity has changed online. So if you're a veteran Pokemon collector like me, everyone used LiveJournal, which is a online blog type form, and we had Pokemon collectors on there. Some of you may have been on it. It's pretty old. It's been around forever and ever, but it has recently, over the past 2 years, significantly died. It's still active, but not a lot of people are using it anymore. People have moved over to a more personal platform like Instagram and Facebook groups and YouTube. And I say personal platforms simply because LiveJournal was a blog style website. You had a username and that was it. No one knew what you looked like. No one knew what your name was. No one knew anything about your life. It was simply you talked about Pokemon and that was it. It was strictly regulated. It was all Pokemon stuff. Nowadays, with Facebook and Instagram, it's become way more personal than it ever has been online. People are not just posting their items and collections and talking about stuff anymore, they're posting selfies with their stuff and they're talking about their lives online. This is not a bad thing by any means, it's just a really interesting observation as someone that's been collecting for so long and as someone that studied personal communications in college. In fact, I embrace it. I really enjoy sharing my life with you guys on Instagram. I love sharing all my stories, my thrifting, and me and my boyfriend doing stuff, and all the other weird crafty stuff I do. I love sharing with you guys. The only downside to this, however, is that not a lot of people can conform to this new collecting platform. A lot of collectors were comfortable with the being anonymous. I don't know how to say inanimate. Yeah, they liked being anonymous on the blog like LiveJournal. So I feel like that a lot of people will have a hard time conforming to the new norm of Pokemon collecting, which is selfies and talking about their lives or whatever. It's just totally different and just an interesting observation I've made. Luckily, though LiveJournal is dead on Pokemon collectors, they kind of moved to their own Discord group, which I'm not a huge fan of Discord. I don't think it gives you the same collecting experience that LiveJournal did, but that's just my opinion. The second thing, the types of items people are collecting nowadays. So during the LiveJournal days, everyone wanted Pokemon Center merch, mostly the Japanese merch, because you gotta remember the Pokemon Center online store in America was non-existent from late 2005 to 2014 when it relaunched. With this, people were all over Japanese auction sites like Yahoo Japan and using a middleman, which people are still doing now, but I don't personally see it as much. And the biggest example of this change, as someone that collected this type of merch, is Pokédolls. Pokédolls have drastically changed in their demand over the past 5 years. Pokédolls used to be hot and their prices were high, and people were willing to shell out just hundreds to even thousands of dollars for certain Pokédolls that were rare. Nowadays, I see Pokédolls that were considered on the rarer side sitting on eBay all the time now, and people are not willing to shell out as much money as they once did for Pokédolls. For example, this precursor Porygon Pokédoll has been on eBay for a little bit now for $1,000. While I think that's a little bit overpriced now, back in 2015 that probably would have been purchased within a day or two of going up for that price. Overall, the market seems to have just totally switched from these types of Pokemon Center items to what I like to call the nostalgic Pokemon boom of 2020. So while back then I did collect Pokédolls, I did not really collect any other Japanese stuff. The rest of my collection really consisted of stuff I found at yard sales and flea markets, and products, and cards. For whatever reason, the demand was not nearly as high for these types of items and cards back then. People ask me all the time how I got such a huge product collection, and it's simply because when I started collecting this stuff, no one else was collecting it. So I had no competition and I got it for cheap. While I never had a huge collection for cards, I did buy the cards in packs for like stupid cheap back in 2012. there was a comic book store near me. I was getting first edition Wizards of the Coast packs for less than $10 each. Now these packs are worth like hundreds of dollars. It's absolutely crazy. Y'all would be absolutely nauseated at what I sold my Neo something Shining Raichu for back in 2013 when I got out of cards. I sold it for $60 in a lot with a bunch of other Raichus. But again, that was priced accordingly from the market in 2013. TCG was not what it is now. And I'm going to tell you the exact reason why that is. One word, pandemic. So a pandemic happens. People get laid off. People have a big fat check coming in the mail every month from unemployment. People have all this time. They can't go on vacation. They can't go to bars with their friends. They can't buy sports tickets, whatever. They have a lot of extra money in the account and they have nothing to spend it on. So people with their free time go online and they start digging around and maybe start looking at the nostalgic stuff from their childhood online. And what does that include? Pokemon cards. And a lot of these people are thinking, wow, I have money now, I should buy that Charizard card that I really wanted as a kid. And thus the nostalgic Pokemon boom of 2020 happened. Here is a year-to-date chart of the base set Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard card, and which you can see a positive gradient month to month, starting when the pandemic really picked up in April. These charts might not be 100% accurate, especially with the crazy dips as of recently, but it definitely proves the point on how the demand has just shot up with the pandemic beginning in April. Because of more people now entering this vintage collecting market, the demand has just gone up significantly, and with the increase in demand is the increase in price. The first Wonder Ball display box that I've seen on eBay pretty much ever recently sold for $470 at a final bid. This exact display I bought for $20, if that. I can't remember what I paid for it, but it was almost nothing. I paid $20 for it in 2015, and I actually got 3 of these pieces, although I'm not really sure where they are right now. Woo! And back in February 2019, I had this post up on my Instagram, which was 2 Pop-Tart boxes and the vitamin box that I had for sale for $30 for the entire lot. And honestly, I had a hard time selling it. No one was interested in it. And this was only almost 2 years ago now. The last Pop-Tart box on eBay sold for $55 or $50, I think. And honestly, I thought that was a really good deal for that. I bet I could put my Pop-Tart box on eBay right now for $100 and get $100 for it. And then the vitamin box has no completed listings on eBay right now. So who knows what that's worth. It is mind-boggling to me just how much the demand has just totally shifted from these Pokemon Center items to the stuff that I've been collecting forever. However, I will say the competition has gotten to that point where I've noticed some toxicity in the community, and I understand that there's toxicity in every community. With so many new collectors entering the market all at once, it's just bound to happen, especially with the TCG community. I'm glad I left that a long time ago, that's all I'll say for that. And at this point, it's pretty much become a luxury to collect older Pokemon TCG now. With celebrities coming in like Logan Paul and rapper Logic, especially within the past 2 weeks, the inflation has just gone through the roof for TCG. And it's definitely taken a damper on people that just simply can't afford to drop $500-$600 on a pack or several thousand on their Shadowless Charizard card that they want, all because of a pandemic. For me personally, it's really been frustrating to watch new collectors enter the market collecting very similar things that I collect and just blow past me in followers within a few months. I'm not docking them at all, that's awesome, I totally support them and I'm glad to see them and their collection grow, but you can understand how that can put me down as someone that has been doing this for so long and collecting these same items way before anyone else has, you know? I work super hard on giving you guys unique, cool content, and I've definitely tried to step up my content game recently on Instagram for you guys, and it's seriously been really hard. I've always believed that me being in a photo with an item takes away from the item at hand. I want people to follow my account for my Pokemon and not for me, if that makes sense. But I definitely have seen just significant more feedback with selfie type photos of me with an item. I'm glad people want to be a part of my Pokemon journey like that, but it's just been a different transition for me coming from the live journal era where Pokemon collectors used to just be a username. There was no face to collecting at all, so that's just been a big change for me to get used to. I still don't love selfie type posts, and it's not because I'm self-conscious or anything. I still genuinely believe it takes away from the item, so I don't plan on doing selfies with every photo I take. That brings me into my conclusion here. As much as I believe there is a prestige to having a high number of followers on your Instagram, at the end of the day, it's still about the Pokemon and the community that we have built for our love for Pokemon. Whether it's vintage items or new items or cards or plush or figures, whatever it is that you may collect. If you can't afford to collect older cards, or you don't have a bigger following, or maybe you just don't feel comfortable posting selfies online, that's okay. Don't let it discourage you. There are just so many wonderful people in this community that everyone can connect to and find someone that's on the same plane as them, so don't ever give up your Pokemon journey just because you feel discouraged from the current market that is collecting today. Pokemon is not going anywhere, and I am really excited to see it boom and blossom this past year, and I'm definitely excited to see where it goes from here. So I wish everyone the best of luck on their Pokemon journey thus forward. So thank you guys for watching my little rant. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have you observed a drastic change in the community this past year for you? Don't forget to drop a like and a comment, and follow me on Instagram at newasme700, and I will see you guys next time.